membership director for the Oladele Foundation. Please, just some house, rules. Please be muted during presentation. When Zita is talking, please let's all be muted and let's try to listen to the presentation quietly. If we have questions, you can put it in the chat box, and at the end of the presentation, Zita would be able to answer all the questions. This presentation will be recorded and made available on our website, and email will be sent out to every participant with the link when it is available, or you can just go to the Oladele Foundation website or the ACSG group website, and you'll be able to get a copy of that. And after the presentation today, a survey will be sent out with a link. Please let us know how you feel about today's events. And then, like I said, questions, please, for me, for the presenter, please let's put it in the chat box, and at the end of the session, we'll take all the questions. So who is our presenter today? It is Zita Ndieshe. I hope I pronounced your last name very well. She's Perfect. A fitness trainer. She's a health coach. She's a nutritionist. She's very passionate about empowering individuals to reclaim their health. I would leave her to talk a little bit more about herself, how her journey started. So Zita, please take over.
Thank you very much, Adiola, for that eloquent introduction. I want to apologize again for the late start. I promise you're going to be happy after this. That though it was late, you will leave with information that is going to help you improve on your life. Can you please grant me access? I want to share my screen. It says the host has disabled sharing.
Yeah. Okay, can you grant her access?
Please? Yes, ma'am. I've made you co-host now, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
Did I disable my own share? Not sure.
Share.
Okay.
Okay. Take it. I want to move this to another place.
Recording in progress.
Please let me know if you can see my screen.
Yes, ma'am, we can see your screen.
Okay. All righty. So here we are. Today, the presentation is going to be about sleep. We take sleep a lot for granted because it comes naturally, but a lot of people still suffer from sleep issues and other illnesses that have come about because they are not getting enough sleep. So in this presentation, we are going to talk about sleep architecture, what sleep has to look like, what happens when you do not have enough sleep, and how you can clean up your sleep hygiene to make sure that you get enough sleep and you don't go down the route of chronic diseases that come with insufficient sleep. So the title of my presentation is Sleep is the Tide That Lifts the Boat of Health. That's from Dr. Matthew Walker, who is a sleep expert. So who am I? My name is Zita Tangwa Ndieshe. I am a special needs teacher with the Calgary Catholic School District. That's my main job. A very fulfilling job, I would say. Something that actually helped me to get into the health field, because I saw my students, and my students, most of them are on the spectrum. and there's really nothing they can do about their lifestyle. They're going to be autistic for the rest of their lives. Prior to that, I had type 2 diabetes, and I wasn't taking care of myself. Like, I was just resigned to taking pills. And when I saw my students, it just dawned on me that if I do not do something about taking care of myself, I will actually be doing a disservice to my students, because there's nothing they can do for themselves, but I can do something for myself. So if I am not taking on that responsibility to do something for myself, then I am doing a disservice to them. And that is what took me down the path to health and wellness. Today, I am a health coach, a certified juice therapist, and recently I became a certified personal trainer and a nutritionist. And all of this is, my goal is to help women to change their lives and to lead happy lives, because I strongly believe that once a woman is healthy, the rest of the family inadvertently becomes healthy, because she makes those choices. She is in a position of making those choices for her family. So that is who I am, and we are going to dive into the presentation. So these are some of the things that have happened all through history to show you that sleep is very, very important. The first thing is that we know that there are challenges that always come up for the Guinness Book of Records. We used to have a challenge for sleep deprivation to see how long somebody can go without sleeping. So a couple of people did this challenge, and after that, they discovered that their mental health just tanked. And so Guinness Book, the people who organized these competitions in the Guinness Book of Records actually took out sleep deprivation from it, because of the effects that occurred after people stayed up for too long without having enough sleep. Secondly, psychiatrists have realized that there is no mental health condition that is not linked to sleep deprivation. So if you're suffering from any mental health condition in one way or the other, sleep is part of it. That's not getting enough sleep is a part of it. And also these days, we talk a lot about weight loss, dieting, exercising, and newsflash, if you follow the best workout routine, the best diet, and you're not getting adequate sleep, you are going to actually gain weight. So you're actually working against yourself. So these are the things that we should just keep at the back of our minds to show us how important Mother Nature made sleep. And I want you to really think about this. So the job of us being here on this planet is to save ourselves and to procreate. So sleep is the antithesis of all of this, because when you are sleeping is the time when you're most vulnerable. If you're sleeping out in the wild, like our ancestors used to sleep outside or in caves in the savannah, you are vulnerable, because if a lion walks into the cave, you will get eaten. You will be that lion's meal, because that is the time you're most vulnerable. And when you are sleeping, you cannot procreate. So why is sleep so important? Even though it's the time when you are most vulnerable, Mother Nature made us to sleep, because sleep is very important for our well-being. Okay, so to start off, I want to make a distinction between sleep opportunity and sleep efficiency. Sleep opportunity, sorry. So sleep opportunity is the number of hours that you spend in your bed. And usually the WHO provides or says people should sleep for between 7 to 9 hours. But that's the time that you're in your bed. Sleep efficiency is the amount of time that you spend within your different sleep stages that you are actually asleep. Because some people go to bed and they're tossing and turning and they're not sleeping. And you get up, you've been in your bed for 9 hours, but you've only had like 6 hours of sleep. So what we are gunning towards, what we want people to take home today is how we can improve sleep efficiency. So most people only sleep for 85% of the time they're in bed, but the recommended hours of sleep efficiency is between 7 to 9 hours for you to actually get the benefits of sleep. Okay, what happens when we sleep? So when we sleep, our brains is actually a slowdown in our brain waves. So brain activity actually slows down and bodily activity also slows down. So when you get into sleep, we have different cycles that last for between 90 to 120 minutes. So in the first stage, we have light sleep, like you're drowsy and then you start feeling sleepy. That's the first stage. The second stage, your brain waves drop. And these stages, I would like to say, pertain to different brain waves. And you move from very high brain waves in stage 1. These brain waves are measured in hertz. So you move from very high brain waves. And as you go through the different sleep stages, your brain waves drop and you become more calm. And that is what sleepiness is about. So you move to stage 2, where you have more stable sleep. The chemicals in your brain are now getting more and more active. And then you go into deep sleep, which is stage 3. So stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3 are referred to as non-REM sleep or non-rapid eye movement sleep. When you go through these stages, you repair your body. Then you go to stage 4, where you have the rapid eye movement sleep, which is called REM sleep. So going forward, when you hear me talking about non-REM, we are referring to stages 1 to 3. And when we are referring to REM sleep, we are referring to stage 4. So you go through these different stages all through the night. But what you need to know is that the first part of the night, you have more of deep sleep. And the second part of the night, you have more of REM sleep, which is your dream sleep. So during the dream sleep, your body is paralyzed. And that is when you have very vivid dreams. And Mother Nature, again, is very, very intelligent because it paralyzes your body so that you do not act out your dreams. And that is why sometimes people get out of REM sleep, but their body is still paralyzed. That's when you go to sleep and you feel like somebody is following you or somebody is strangling you, and you're trying to protect yourself and you are held down. In my village, they always say there are witches that have come to hold you down, but it's just sleep paralysis, which is a form which usually happens when you get out of REM sleep sooner than your brain can get out of its own activity. So that is REM sleep. So during the night, you have these 90 to 120 minutes where your brain waves oscillate between stage 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back. So these cycles go for 90 minutes. So if you're going to bed and you're sleeping for, say, from 10 a.m. Okay, I'm going to show you the next one, which actually showed okay, this is from my Fitbit. I hope you can see it. Let me know. Can everybody see the data on here?
Yes, ma, we can see it, ma.
Okay, so this is from my Fitbit. Like 2 days ago, I had an excellent sleep score of 91. And this is the different sleep stages. So I was awake for 9% of the night. I had my REM sleep, which is my rapid eye movement sleep, for 23% of my night. That is 2 hours. I had light sleep. So from my Fitbit data, it shows that I am a light sleeper. That is why I have up to 53% of light sleep. And then deep sleep, I'm not sure why I can't see it. And then I had my deep sleep. I can just check on my phone because I took that picture. I'm sorry. I had deep sleep for 15% of the night, which is 1 hour and 16 minutes. So So this is the sleep architecture, how your sleep ranges from the different sleep stages, and you can actually measure these different sleep stages. So it is important for us to know these different sleep stages, because what we do is going to affect the time that we spend in the different sleep stages. Remember that the importance of deep sleep is to restore your body. So if you're someone like me that works out a lot, I need a lot of deep sleep in order that my body can be restored from the workout, because that's stress that I'm putting on my body, and my body needs time to recover. So I need more of deep sleep for that recovery. REM sleep is more for the brain, for the development of the brain and for recovery of the brain. So it's important for us to balance out these different sleep stages. It's important for us to balance out these different sleep stages so you don't spend too much time in one stage than the other. Okay, take for instance, okay, I went to bed at 10:40. Normally, I have a very rigid sleep schedule. I go to bed at 10 o'clock and I am up at 5:20. This day, I got up at 6:45 because it was my rest day. That was Wednesday. I don't work out on Wednesdays. So I get this additional hour of sleep. And you see how this helps me in especially my REM sleep, because REM sleep is more towards the morning period of the night. Deep sleep is when you just get to sleep. So if you go to bed at, okay, take for instance, is the weekend, you say, okay, I'm going to sleep at 12 o'clock and I will get up at 8 o'clock instead of the 6:45 a.m. I have still had 8 hours of sleep, but you realize that I have missed a lot of my deep sleep because I have lost 2 hours of my initial time that I sleep. That's the front phase of my sleep. I have lost 2 hours. So that is actually 2 hours of deep sleep. But I'm going to get more of REM sleep because you have more REM sleep in the morning. So what we advocate for is to try to get a balance, and we'll see how what strategies we can use down the road to get a balance of both deep sleep and REM sleep. Okay, so sleep is very important with learning. I'm going to give you an example. When I was in high school, I was a bookworm. So I did a lot of studies on my own. Like after school, I would come back and read a lot. So I had one of my friends who will come and read with me. But what I normally did, that it's only making sense to me now. When I study after school, I go to my bed and lay down on my bed and I try to recall what I have studied that day. Like I'm in some kind of a trance between sleeping and waking up. So as I am transitioning between that, I am trying to recall what I have read. And it's now that I realized that I was actually consolidating the knowledge. And my friend will come to bed and sleep with me. When we go and write the test, I will score very high and she will not do the same. And she'll be like, why is it that we study the same amount of time? We go to bed at the same time, but when we get up, you still score these high marks. And that is because when you are sleeping, you are actually working on your brain to consolidate information. So when you are sleeping during deep sleep, like the first half of your sleep, you are now taking short-term memory, like everything that happened during the day, you are storing it in your short-term memory in your hippocampus. It's like you have a flash drive in your phone, you just store information in there, or your flash drive in your computer or anything. So you store information in there, but this is only for the short term, and this is during deep sleep. When things go into REM sleep, now your brain is taking the information from the hippocampus and is storing it in the back part of your brain, where it now consolidates this information. It makes associations such that when you get up, you can now look at a theory, if it was even a theory that you were trying to understand. Sometimes when you have very good sleep, and that is why they also say sleep on your problems, because now your brain, when you have very good sleep, people get up from sleep. Einstein has been known to discover a lot of his discoveries were done during sleep. And the person who discovered the light bulb, when he usually just sat and held a bell in his hand and will go into some kind of short-term sleep. And when the bell drops and it rings, he comes out with an idea. So that's how important sleep is. And you agree with me that sometimes when you have very challenging issues and you go and sleep over them, you get up in the morning and a light bulb just comes up. That is the work of your brain, actually putting things together to consolidate that information and make associations with information that had already been stored in your brain. So if you have a test coming up, don't pull that all-nighter. I always tell my kids, make sure you study and make sure you have very good sleep so that you get up, you're not only well rested, but your brain has done its job during the different sleep stages to consolidate that information and make associations, and so you have solutions to challenging issues. So sleep is very, very important for learning. That is why we need to sleep. So they say sleep on your problems, because when sleep is abundant, your mind flourishes. Okay, the next thing is sleep and immunity. How does sleep affect our immunity? And this one is very particular for those who do not know what the Alberta, the ASCG is, and the Oladele Foundation. These are people who support cancer survivors, people who are dealing with cancer, and also their caretakers, and they are doing a very, very phenomenal job. So all of these things come about because of a suppression of our immunity. And I would like to use this opportunity to also talk about us as immigrants. When we come into this country, like a lot of people that I talk to, talk about how stressful it is to settle down. And once your body is in that fight or flight mode all the time, it suppresses your immunity. And so you are prone to other health conditions. So in order to help your body build its immunity, you have to get sufficient sleep. So a lack of restful sleep disrupts the body's innate balance, weakens our immunity, and speeds up the aging process. I got this quote from the Sleep Foundation. So what is our immunity? First of all, we have the innate immunity, which is, we have our immune system, we have white blood cells that fight or protect us from a range of diseases. And this is like an army. So there is no specialty. You just have to go out there. When there's an issue, they go out and fight. Adaptive immunity, on the other hand, changes over time and fights specific diseases. It's like a sniper on a building, and the job of this sniper is to go for a particular target. Thank you. So that is what our adaptive immunity does. And you will see that with adaptive immunity, it is more specialized than the innate immunity. So it's important for us to know these different kinds of immunity that we have, and see how, without us having adequate sleep, it affects the innate immunity and the adaptive immunity. Adaptive immunity changes over time. For instance, when there was the pandemic, we were given the COVID virus. So your body now developed immunity against the COVID virus, such that next time when it sees that virus in your body, it knows what to do with it. So your body adapts over time, depending on circumstances. So how does our immunity work? Yes, we have the adaptive and we have the innate immunity. So our body has cytokines, which are like proteins that act as messengers between our immune system and the cells. So what do these cytokines do? They have three main things that they do. The first thing is cell activation. So like they play the role of the traffic cop. They say, okay, this is time. They are in an intersection where it's an uncontrolled intersection that doesn't have traffic lights. So you have the traffic cop that is there and it directs people on where to go. So in case of an infection, the cytokines now direct the white blood cells to where the infection is. The second thing that they do is cell differentiation. So they play the counseling role. We have stem cells in our body that produce new cells. So these stem cells, another job of the cytokines is to tell your stem cell to produce different kinds of cells. So they play the counseling role. They already know what is happening in your body, where you need help or where you need new cells, and that is their job, to tell your body which new cells are needed. So your stem cell will now produce those new cells. And it also helps with cell proliferation to divide and multiply. What we need to know is that these cytokines work when the immune system is activated. So they now are released into your system. If you're not getting enough sleep, your immune system your immune system develops more during sleep, because remember, every other thing slows down. All your bodily functions slow down. And that is when, especially during stage 3 of non-REM sleep, that is when these cytokines are being produced. So if you're not getting enough sleep, you don't have enough cytokines. And so the transfer of information is inhibited. You're not getting enough information between your immune system and the cells, because these messengers, the cytokines, are not there to do that, to do that job. For instance, you have a cell phone. At first, I am in Freedom Mobile. At first, there was no network in Airdrie. So if I go to Airdrie, there's no way I'm going to use my phone because I don't have network. But when I come to Calgary, where there is network, I can use my phone. So it's the same thing. When you do not have enough cytokines in your system, it blocks communication between your immune system and your cells. But once there is that communication, the cytokines play these roles that they are supposed to play. And one thing that we should know, we have cells that are produced in our bodies that are not helpful, almost like cancerous cells that are produced every day. But with these cytokines, and with them playing the role that are supposed to play, they identify these cells and kick them out right away. So getting enough sleep is very important for our immune system. If you are not getting enough sleep, you are jeopardizing your immunity, you're jeopardizing your immune system, and that exposes you to a lot of diseases. I am going to, for instance, I'm going to quote some studies here. You see them in the reference section. I'm going to reference them at the end. We have a study that was carried out. The first study was how sleep deprivation and the incidence of common cold. So we are moving into the common cold season where we have flus. So how can you protect yourself from having common colds? Simple, it's sleep. And these people justified this. We have this study that was carried out by Eric Prather et al. They took 164 men and women between the ages of 18 and 55 years old. So they tracked their sleep duration for 7 days using a wrist actigraph. So this is just like a wristwatch that tracks your arm activity during sleep. So they gave all of them this wrist actigraph, and they tracked their sleep during a period of 7 days. And what did they start the period of 7 days? They took them, quarantined them, and gave them the rhinovirus that is clinically controlled. They gave them the rhinovirus to see how they will respond to this virus based on the amount of sleep that they were having. And what did they come out with? This study came out with the results that those who slept less than 5 hours had a greater risk to contract the common cold. Those who had 5 to 6 hours of sleep had an increased risk, and those who had between 6 to 7 hours of sleep had no risk of contracting the common cold. So this tells you how important sleep is, because during sleep, we build our immune system. The immune system has time to rejuvenate, to rebuild itself. And so it makes it makes it stronger, and it makes it able to fight against diseases. So please dial your sleep in. The second study that I want to quote is about insulin sensitivity, and this study was carried out by Gonzalez Ortiz et al. So they were looking at how sleep deprivation increases the incidence of chronic diseases like insulin resistance, which can obviously progress into type 2 diabetes. So they did a randomized single-blind controlled clinical trial. They used 28 subjects, and they sleep deprived these 28 subjects for 24 hours. And then the control group now were only 14 participants who had normal sleep during the same period. So they realized that steady state glucose concentration was very high in those who had the 24-hour sleep deprivation, and it was very steady for the control group that had normal sleep. So if you're not getting enough sleep, you're actually pushing your way towards developing chronic diseases. And we know that the problem of chronic diseases is an insulin problem. Once you have elevated insulin levels, it does not only affect your blood sugars, it also affects your cardiovascular health. And there are tons of diseases downstream that come up because of high or elevated insulin levels. So sleep deprivation is a serious issue. And also, one thing that we also have to note is that during sleep, our immune system also builds its memory. Remember that I said during REM sleep, memory is consolidated. Same thing happens to our immune system during sleep. Our immune system, especially the adaptive immune system, has a job that it's supposed to do. So during immune system, it consolidates, during sleep, it consolidates that memory so that next time when it comes across a challenge or a disease, it remembers what it's supposed to do. So sleep also helps our immune system to consolidate memory. Another thing that that I just want to highlight here is sickness and sleepiness. You realize that when you are sick, you really want to sleep. You feel tired and you lack energy. That is because when you are sick, there is like a cytokine storm. Like all your immune system is activated to go and fight that disease. And when it is activated, we have a lot of these cytokines in your system. And with these cytokines, it's like an inflammation. And with an increased inflammation, it helps you to be sleepy. It helps you to be sleepy. I'm sorry. Okay. So when you are sick, there's an increase in these cytokines because Mother Nature wants you to sleep for your immune system to do its job. Okay. All right. So these are some of the things that happen when we sleep. Another thing that happens when we sleep, we have heard about brainwashing. Brainwashing is a phenomenon. It actually happens. So we have systems in our body that help to clear out waste from our body. So from our body, we have the lymphatic system that helps to clear out waste. In our brains, we have the glymphatic system, which is named after the glial cells that are found in between. That's a layer that is found in between the brain cells. So at night, when we are sleeping, especially during REM sleep, remember REM sleep is for the brain, deep sleep is for the body. When we are sleeping at night, your brain actually shrinks. Why does it shrink? Because it wants to give the opportunity for the cerebral spinal fluid to go through your brain like a power hose. It washes through your brain, because when your brain is carrying out activities during the day, there is a waste that builds up like beta amyloid. This beta amyloid is what has been linked to neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. So when you are not getting, and one thing that you have to note is they have opened people's brains while they're not sleeping, and they will not see the glymphatic system. You can only see it when someone is sleeping. So that shows how important this system is, or how important sleep is with reference to your glymphatic system. And one thing we need to know is, before you are diagnosed with full-blown dementia or Alzheimer's, it had started 30 years back. And if we know that statistics show that people who are diagnosed, the majority of them are in their 70s, it means these things started in their late 30s and 40s. So this is an opportunity for us to start doing things, solve the problem from the source, solve the problem from upstream, so that you don't go downstream and start trying to fix things. So if you're in your 30s and 40s, please try to get as much sleep as you can, because you are helping your 80-year-old self by doing the right things now. So this lymphatic system, like I say, helps to clean out the debris or the waste from your brain, and it helps with brain functioning. So getting good sleep helps with this lymphatic system, so that we do not end up with neurodegenerative diseases. Okay. So we have heard about how important sleep is, the things that can happen to us when we do not have enough restorative sleep. So now is the good news. It's not all gloomy. It's not all bad. What can we do to improve our sleep architecture? What can we do to improve our sleep hygiene, so that we are restored in body, mind, and spirit when we have restorative sleep? So we are now going to dive into the different protocols to help us improve sleep. The first thing is that we have to reduce stress response, because when you are under stress, you cannot sleep, because you're telling your body that I am in danger. And when you are telling your body that you are in danger, the job of your body is to protect you. And making you to go to sleep makes you vulnerable. So your body is not going to make you go to sleep. It's going to keep you awake. So the first thing we need to do is to get out of stress, especially during the night. And what are the things that we can do to reduce stress? So when you are going to sleep, you have to switch from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system. That keeps you in a rest and repair state. And during sleep, that is actually what happens. Your body is resting and it is repairing itself. So it is necessary for you to get into the rest and repair state for you to get restorative sleep. So life happens. There are times that you get so worked up, you have something challenging, maybe at work or with your family, that keeps you awake and you're unable to sleep. But remember, it's that sleep that is going to help you go through these challenges. So these are different protocols that we can take on to help us go to sleep. The first one is meditation. So you can do that different kinds of meditation. The one that I do is this one by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And what does meditation mean? Meditation means becoming familiar with yourself. It's building self-awareness. So when you are meditating constantly, it helps you to be more and more aware of yourself. And when you become more and more aware of yourself, there are questions that you can ask yourself in difficult conditions, in difficult situations, that will change the perspective of what you are actually going through at the time. So meditation helps, prayers help, reading the Bible helps. Any spiritual or religious practice that you engage in helps to bring your mind into that calm and rest and repair state. Secondly, journaling. This has been a life changer for me, because when you are writing in a book, first of all, it's tactile. So there's touch. So you are transferring that information from your brain onto that piece of paper. And I bet you, when you sleep over that problem, there's something that is called emotional decoupling. So during sleep, your mind now, or your brain now, replace what has happened during the day, but it takes off the emotions out of it. And now you can see it from a totally different perspective. Take, for instance, you had a challenging situation at work or with your spouse, and then you go and write down this issue in your journal. When you write it down in your journal, and then you go sleep, first of all, you've already taken it out of your head. So it's not that quiet voice in your head is not going to be on repeat on that issue, and then taking you out of being in the current or in the present moment. You are in the past. So once you write it down, you take it out of your head, you sleep over it. I bet you when you get up the next day and read what you wrote, you are going to have a totally different perspective. That is how powerful journaling is. So if something is keeping you awake, just get up, grab a piece of paper and write it down. You have already taken it out of your head and you're going to go to sleep. It may not happen immediately, but you will have to practice it over time. And once you hone into that skill, it now helps you to transfer information from your head onto that paper, and it helps you to see things from a different perspective, because during sleep, your brain now actually decouples that information and you now see it from a different perspective. There's another protocol. This one is this is a new word that was coined by Dr. Andrew Huberman. He's very popular on YouTube. He's a neuroscientist at Stanford University. I just adore this guy because he's so smart, and he's all things neuroscience. So he coined this term, non-sleep deep rest, that is a protocol that is designed to induce a state of deep realization without you falling asleep. And I would liken it to sometimes when you're so tired and you take a power nap. You get up from that power nap, maybe you've just been sleeping for like 30 minutes, but you get up and you feel so rested and you think you've been sleeping for 8 hours. So what Dr. Andrew Huberman proposes is that you just wear like headphones and he's reading something to you. Sometimes it's just a body scan. You're scanning your body from head to toe. Sometimes it's just nature sounds that are played. And this puts you in a deep state of rest. And then if you're having issues with falling asleep, that makes you more restful. Remember, we're talking about that rest and repair state, and you can easily go asleep. There's also something that is called yoga nidra. It's there are lots of videos on YouTube. You just type in yoga nidra, you're going to see a lot of them. It also helps you to fall asleep. You just put on your headphones when you find that you're just tossing and turning. Put on your headphones, and they're going to give you something like a guided meditation that keeps you rested. And before you know it, you have fallen asleep with your headphones on. And then finally, we have essential oils, especially lavender. It has been known to activate the parasympathetic nervous system that helps you to be relaxed and to go to sleep. So these are protocols to help you to reduce stress, whether it's something that is stressing you out and you cannot fall asleep, or something that is stressing you out during the day, because that is also going to play out at night and affect your sleep. The next thing that we are going to look at is food. How does food affect your sleep architecture? Remember, when we are talking about sleep, we are talking about deep sleep and we are talking about REM sleep. So how does food affect your sleep architecture? The first thing is timing. We are advised not to eat to eat at least 2 hours before bedtime. And if you know your bedtime is supposed to be dialed in, if you know your bedtime, make sure you eat 2 hours, because active digestion actually takes about 2 hours. When you go to bed, remember, all your bodily functions slow down because your body now is rested. So your system is now directed towards other things. So you don't want to go to bed with a full tummy, because now, instead of your body diverting resources towards resting and repairing, it will be digesting your food. And so it's going to affect your sleep architecture. So make sure you eat at least 2 hours to bedtime. Another thing with timing is that people who sleep late tend to eat more. Because if you are binge watching Netflix, for instance, and you had your last meal, say, okay, 8 p.m., you had your last meal. If you were supposed to sleep at 10, by 8 p.m., you had your last meal. But if you say, okay, it's the weekend, I'm going to binge watch Netflix, you eat at 8. You are up 9, 10, 11. I bet you are going to feel hungry. And when you feel hungry at that time, you get into the refrigerator, is anything that is available there that you're going to eat. So when you sleep late, there is the tendency for you to eat more because you are staying up late. The second thing is the type of food we are eating. Research has shown that when you are eating ultra-processed food, it affects you the next day and it affects your sleep architecture. When you eat ultra-processed foods, the next day, it affects your hormones, like your hunger and your satiety hormone of ghrelin and leptin. When you eat these ultra-processed foods, which is the tendency when you are
Where are
staying
you?
up
I'm
late.
right here. Ranisi, I'm right here.
Can we mute, please?
Sorry about that. Might's been muted.
That's okay. So the type of food that we are eating also affects these hormones. And when we eat more of the ultra-processed foods, it affects our sleep. Caffeine, I'm going to talk about caffeine when I'm talking about light. Okay, I'll talk about caffeine here. So we have another protocol to help us go to sleep. You actually start helping yourself to go to sleep in the morning. So the first thing is our exposure to light. You hear, if you go to social media trolls, you hear them talking about getting the morning walk. In addition to getting the benefits from a morning walk, like this morning, I just did my 5K run before this presentation. So when you get the morning walk in, you're not only getting the benefits from that walk, you are also getting exposure to sunlight. And how does that affect sleep? When you go out in the morning and there is sunlight, there is something in your brain that is called a chemical in your brain called adenosine. And I want to make a distinction between this adenosine and adenosine triphosphate, which is the energy currency that is produced in the mitochondria. That is not what we're talking about. This one is produced in the brain. So when you go out in the morning, adenosine starts rising. This is what gives you sleep pressure. So adenosine starts rising with exposure to sunlight. And in the evening, it starts dropping. And the moment we have nighttime, melatonin, which helps you to sleep, now starts rising. So having exposure to morning sunlight helps with this balance of these chemicals that are directly linked to sleep. So in the morning, when you are driving to work, do not wear sunglasses unless you have issues with your eyes. Get as much sunlight. It is said that we should have at least 20 minutes of sunlight into our eyes, directly into our eyes by 10 a.m. So if you're working from home, for instance, and you're indoors all day, just take a morning walk, go out, get that sunlight into your eyes because it helps with your sleep architecture. Also, when you go out at night, even on when you go out during the day, even on a cloudy day, you still have about 10,000 lux of light that are piercing through the clouds. So even on a cloudy day, still go out and get that morning sunlight because it helps with the balance of this adenosine and melatonin that helps you to go to sleep. Another thing that affects our sleep at night is exposure to blue light. We are in the age of technology and we have exposure to blue lights, and blue light is what is coming out from your phones, your electronics, what is coming out from your TV. And I would advise that you should not have a TV set in your bedroom because some people say, I will watch TV in my bedroom and then I will fall asleep. You have to make your bedroom a sanctuary for sleep. Your bedroom should not be for any other thing, so that your body is attuned to your bedroom and what has to happen in your bed. There are other things that happen in the bedroom, of course, but it has to be mainly for sleep. So when you get into the bedroom, your body already knows that it's time to sleep, and so it will just follow through. If I look at my Fitbit, for instance, when I go to bed at 10 o'clock, because I have dialed in my sleep schedule, it takes me less than 15 minutes to get into deep sleep because my body is already attuned. My body knows that when I am here, it's time to sleep. So once I go into my bedroom, it already follows through because I have trained it over time to know that this is my sleep schedule and we need to follow this sleep schedule. So when there is exposure to blue light, when you are on your phone all night, when you have a TV running in your bedroom, it affects your sleep because it interferes with the function of melatonin. Melatonin works well in the dark. So when it is getting more of this blue light, it gets confused. Is it daytime? Is it night? Should I do my job to make them sleep? So that is how blue light affects our sleep. So do not stay on your phone at night, and do not have electronics in your bedroom that would distract you and get your hormones confused and haywire. The next thing is the room temperature. What should your room temperature be? So for your body to get to sleep, your body temperature has to drop by 1 to 2 degrees centigrade for you to get to sleep. So a cool, dark room, you get dark blinds that will not let any light in. Remember, light interferes with the functioning of melatonin. So when you have dark blinds and in your bedroom and your temperature is low, if you have like a fan, like during the summer, it was so hot that I got a fan. And I was just telling my husband, wow, I sleep so much better now. We don't have air conditioning. So I sleep so much better now because the room is cooler. And then it's easy for you to just get into sleep. Secondly, there's also something you can do during sleep, but this, you really have to be conscious of it. There are times that you get too hot at night and you realize that your hands and feet are out. I'm sure that people who can attest that this happens. So your body is actually exposing your hands and feet because your palms and the sole of your feet have a lot of blood vessels that are close to the surface. So this now, when you expose them, when you get too hot, it increases the exchange of heat between your body and the room, and then it helps you to cool down, and then you can continue sleeping. So if you are feeling very hot at night, just send out your feet out of your sheets or your blanket or your duvet or whatever. Send out your hand and your feet and your head, and then it's going to help to cool you down faster, and then you can easily go back to sleep. We've talked about light in the bedroom. You should have very low lights. Like in my house, that I know there are people who say, oh my God, this house is so dark. Yes, because during the night, you need to have low lights. And if, like, dim the lights, use as little light as possible all over the house, because it's teaching your body that I'm getting to my bedtime, so slow down. So dim the lights in the house. And if you can have lights coming but from the floor, that will also be very helpful, because when it's coming from above, it hits directly into the photons in your eyes, and that tells your melatonin that it's daytime. So if you can have lights that are coming but from below, it changes everything. It changes the dynamics, and then have low lights that will help you to fall asleep. Also in the evening, it's okay to have a warm shower or a warm bath. That helps you, because when you have a warm shower, your body now loses heat. And then it cools down your core body temperature, and then you can now go to sleep, because remember, your core body temperature has to drop by 1 or 2 degrees centigrade before you can go to sleep, to deep sleep. And then in the morning now, you can have a cold shower, because it helps to wake you up. So when you have a warm shower, your body responds in the opposite way. And when you have a cold shower, your body now warms up, because your body has lost. When you have a cold shower, your body now ramps up the metabolism to bring up your temperatures to normal temperature. That's called homeostasis. Your body has that job to always maintain that balance. So for you to go to sleep at night easily, having a warm shower or a warm bath will help your body, your core body temperature to cool down. That will help you to fall asleep. Okay, this is just talking about adenosine and melatonin levels and its effects on sleep. So make sure you're balancing those out. And I've also already talked about this, that your bedroom should be a sleep sanctuary. Okay, there are times that you sleep at night and you just wake up suddenly and you are unable to go back to sleep. Do not stay in bed. Get a book. Get out of your bed, go to another room, and read that book until sleep pressure builds up again, and then you can come back and sleep. Why? If you stay up on your bed without sleeping, you are telling your body that this is not a sleep sanctuary. So your body is not going to help you to go to sleep. Okay, I know someone, I'm not going to call the person's name. When they come back from work, they're on the couch after dinner, go on the couch, watch TV, sleep on the couch. And then get up 2 hours or 1 hour later, go to bed, and they're complaining that they can't sleep. First of all, you have had a very disruptive sleep. And you have already used up your sleep pressure, because even when you are feeling asleep, just try to keep yourself busy with something else so that the pressure builds up to the extent that when you get to bed, you just fall asleep and get into your deep sleep. But when you have already slept on the couch, you're telling your body that this couch is my sleep sanctuary. This is where I should be sleeping. And that is why it's a habit that is very difficult to change, because you have already taught your body that this is where I should sleep. So once you are seated on that couch, your body already knows that this is where we are sleeping. And so it makes you go to sleep. And when you go back to bed, you are unable to sleep. So you have to make your bedroom a sleep sanctuary, so that your body understands that once I'm here, it's time to sleep. You can read a book. It helps you to calm down, and it helps you to sleep. Another thing that we should avoid in terms of electronics during the night is phone calls. And when you are making phone calls in your bedroom or almost to sleep time, you should be very careful the kind of phone call that you're making, because if you make a phone call that ramps up your parasympathetic self, that keeps you in a fight or flight mode, that affects your sleep. If you watch horror movies, it ramps up your parasympathetic nervous system, your sympathetic nervous system, sorry, it ramps up your sympathetic nervous system because you are in fight or flight mode, you are in fear. That too will not help you to go to sleep. If you read horror books, all of those things will affect. So just think like anything you want to do around your sleep time. Think about whether this is going to affect my sympathetic nervous system or is going to affect my parasympathetic nervous system that will help me to go to sleep. So that should be at the back of your mind, and that should be your guiding principle towards what you should be doing in your bedroom. Exercise. Those of you who know me, you know how particular I am about exercise. By the way, that's me in the gym, one of my safe spaces. So the timing of your exercise is very important. If you do vigorous activity, like it is advised that if you have to put in your workout, doing it first thing in the morning is important, is advisable because you already have it in. Most times when you want to keep it to the end of the day, you get so tired and so distracted that you keep postponing it to the next day. So having it first thing in the morning is very, very advantageous. And it is advised that if you have to exercise in the afternoon, it shouldn't be after 5 p.m. 5 p.m. should be the latest. Because when you are exercising, you are actually putting a strain on your body. And when you are putting a strain on your body gets inflamed. We have those cytokines that are coming in, like what is happening. And those cytokines are coming in because it's an inflammation to your body. You are putting a stress on your body. So when you walk out too close to bedtime, the stress level is very high. So you have activated that sympathetic nervous system. And so it will be very difficult for you to fall asleep. And I would like to also say that this is not for everybody, but this is the general rule of thumbs. Some people walk out later, like my son says, if he walks out in the evening, it helps him sleep better. But now we have to look at his sleep architecture. Does he go through all those sleep stages in a balanced way? That is how you can easily tell if your exercise routine is helping you with your sleep. So exercising is good. It helps you build those cytokines. And remember, it's an inflammation. And when there's an inflammation, your body has the tendency to make you to sleep, so that if you're strength training, like I always do, your muscles can be repaired in that rest and repair state. So watch out the timing of your exercise. Oh, so that was it about what happens when we do not sleep, and what sleep is, and how we can clean up our sleep hygiene. Thank you very, very much for listening. I will now take questions.
Before the questions, thank you so much, Zita, for that powerful delivery. That's so insightful and educative. Just so we all know, this event is brought to you from the African Cancer Support Group and the Alberta government through the Ethnocultural Funding and Calgary Foundation. Zita, you have really, I feel guilty for so many reasons. Everything you have said, I'm like, oh my God, I've not been doing this right. And we do have a question in the chat box. Gilbert is asking, how can sleep efficiency be enhanced in people who work at night and sleep during the day? Please take that question first, and then anybody that wants to ask question can raise their hands, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, so if there is a way that you can give up walking at night, you should, because you are actually, there's no way you're going to have enough sleep during the day. One, it's daylight, and that affects melatonin. It's going to affect your sleep architecture. And these people are not stupid to give you a shift differential at night. There's a reason why they're giving you a shift differential, because they know you are losing sleep. And your sleep will be very, very disrupted. If you have to work nights, do it, but don't do it for an extended period of time, because it's taking a toll on your health. So if you work at night and you come back during the day, also have a sleep routine, okay? Say that you come back at 7 o'clock, go and get that 20 minutes of walk. Anyway, you're driving back home, you're getting the sunlight. And that too is also a problem, because it's going to spike up adenosine, and that's not the time you are going back to sleep. But normally you also have sleep pressure, because you've not slept during the night. So have a routine so that when you come back, you put in at least 6 hours of restorative sleep, which is still not enough. But if you put that 6 hours continuously, it's going to be better than not having sleep at all. But if you have a choice, we know that there are people like nurses who work at night. We have firefighters, we have policemen who are very, very helpful. Thank them for all what they are doing. But if you have to work at night, please don't do it for an extended time, because it's going to have a toll on you down the road. I
Thank you.
hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Zita. Somebody here is also asking, please, how do we help teenagers who experience sleep deficiency?
I am so glad you brought that up. So with teenagers, there is a shift in their sleep pattern. So they have a tendency to sleep late and get up early. I'm sorry, there's okay. So with teenagers, they have a shift in their sleeping routine. So they now sleep later in the night, and then they have to sleep later in the morning. So if you look at school districts, like the Georgia School District, for instance, they shifted the school start time to 9 a.m. And they discovered that the performance of students increased a lot and behaviors dropped, because the teenagers were having enough sleep. Another thing as parents that we should do is, what is your child doing in their bedroom at night? They have their phones, and think about blue light exposure. They have their phones with them, and this blue light affects the production of melatonin, and so they don't get enough sleep, even when they need to get sleep. So it's two-pronged. Like, parents need to make sure that there are no electronics in the room, and we have to teach by example. Maybe put a place where all phones are kept at night, plus yours should be out of your bedroom too, so that you don't get tempted to go to it. So they keep their phones, and then they go to their bedrooms and go to sleep. And then the government needs to start looking at how we can make sleep more readily, more functional for teenagers, based on their shifted sleep routine, where they sleep later and get up later. So that is going to help them. So I think that is how we can approach that question.
Do we have anybody in the audience that would like to ask a question? Okay, while we're waiting for any question, please type it in the box.
Hello, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mary Ivy. I am her first daughter. But my question really is, sleep is very important coming from a healthcare point of view, but just personally for someone who likes sleep a lot, just personally. But my question is, there's moments where you feel very tired. Again, for nurses that work mostly 12 hours, and you come back and your body falls asleep because your body is physically tired, but you still wake up feeling tired. but you have slept. So how do you explain being tired and falling asleep, but still waking up feeling tired?
So this girl is a pharmacist. She's asking me a medical question. I am not a medical doctor. So I would use what I know to answer that question. So there are times that, yes, your body may be tired because there has been sleep pressure. Your body is naturally supposed to sleep at night. So when you are not sleeping at night, that sleep pressure builds up such that when you come home, you just collapse into sleep. But what is your sleep architecture? What is your sleep hygiene like? If you come back, you are in a noisy environment, you are not in a dark room, you're not getting enough sleep. And when you get only like 6 hours of sleep, there's something that is called sleep jet lag. When you don't have enough sleep, you are supposed to have like 6 hours, right? Or 7 to 9 hours. If you're not having enough of that, you are having sleep jet lag. And so that the time that you are not getting that enough sleep builds up. And when that pressure builds up enough, you will fall asleep even in water because your body is like, I have to shut down now. I have to go to sleep. But is your brain in concordance with your body to make sure that you are getting enough sleep? Maybe not. And that is why you get up, you're still tired because your body has just responded to that sleep pressure, but you have not had the right sleep architecture for you to feel restored. I don't know if that
So what
answers your
I'm
question.
understanding is your brain, body, and mind have to almost like synchronize. So they have to converge in
Yes.
order for you to have restful, restorative sleep.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So
Thank you for joining.
There's another question here that says, are there specific food better eating at night that can help with our sleep? Are there some specific foods, especially culturally appropriate foods?
So anything that does not have a barcode and that is not in a box, you can eat. Anything that has a barcode, is in a box or in a can, is an ultra-processed food, and that is going to affect your sleep.
Actually,
So you can
bananas
eat.
and walnuts are good for you if you want to fall asleep. If you want a late night
Yes, yes.
snack, walnuts actually have melatonin in them, the natural hormone melatonin. One of the ingredients in walnuts is structurally similar to melatonin, so actually help you fall asleep.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Lom has a question. Please ask your question.
I see Dr. Lum's hand is up too.
Oh, hi. Thank you so much, Auntie Zita. That was an excellent presentation. I really, really enjoyed it. And I just had a comment following what Mary Ivy said. And it was very helpful that you presented the sleep cycle. So looking at the sleep cycle to give more input to your response to Mary Ivy, different people, there are standards for how long a complete sleep cycle would take, but then different people have different times for a complete sleep cycle. So if you look at somebody, say some people will have a complete sleep cycle, and what I mean is you go through all the stages that Auntie Zita presented when she was looking at the different cycles of sleep. If you go through a complete cycle, let's say in 4 hours, you wake up feeling more refreshed, more energetic because you were able to go through all those stages like she presented. So for some people, it may take longer for them to complete that cycle. Others would take shorter time. So to answer your question or to provide more insight to your concern, for those who sleep maybe 6 hours, 8 hours, waking up feeling tired, exhausted, some studies have shown that they were not able to fully complete the cycle. So they may have started a cycle and they completed it, and then they went into a second cycle and they woke up halfway through the sleep cycle. So without going through that full cycle, you may have slept for 10 hours, but maybe you are able to do a full cycle in 6 hours. So to complete 2 cycles, you need 12 hours. So you'll say, oh, I slept for 10 hours, but then you did not complete that second cycle. So you wake up in the middle of it and you start feeling exhausted. At least that's what some studies have shown. Now, there's still a lot of research to be done in that area, but I think if you look at it that way, it kind of explains some of the questions. So you need to study yourself, find out what is the average time for you to complete a cycle, and try to work within that. That's why some people, for me, I will sleep for 4 hours and I wake up feeling very well because that is my system. I complete my cycles in 4 hours. But if I sleep for 6 hours, I wake up feeling very tired because I did not complete the second cycle. So you just need to figure out what works for you, and it may help to solve that problem. I just wanted to add more insight. I hope it helps.
Thank you very much, Doc. That was very thoughtful. Thank you.
Thank you. We have somebody else that raised his or her hand. Elke. I'm sorry.
Hi, yes, it's LP. Thank you, Zita, so much for that presentation. It actually has been very informative. A lot of things that we do and making us tired when we wake up now makes sense. But I have a question for you. As you know, I have a daughter who is on the autism spectrum, and sleep is a big issue. So we have tried routines, melatonin at night, trying to do the same thing every night, but still there are times when she just can't fall asleep. So she has a hard time either falling asleep or staying asleep. So what would be your recommendation? And I think you're the perfect person because you deal with kids to answer this question. What would be your recommendation for me and my daughter?
Wow, that's a tough one, okay. So I know that I'm a special needs teacher, so I know that kids on the spectrum have issues with sleep. I would say that because I always tell parents of my students, if they don't sleep at night, don't let them sleep during the day. Try to keep them busy during the day so that they build up that sleep pressure and then they can sleep at night. When my students come to school, there's a time that I've set up aside, like 30 to 45 minutes that I give them time to sleep, because I know that sometimes they don't sleep well at night. So try to keep them busy during the day. They can take a nap, about an hour nap during the day, but let them build that sleep pressure so that at night they can go back to their sleep routine. I don't know if there's any medic here who can add more to that. That's the most I can do, I can say. I don't know if that helps, okay?
I'm just sorry. With melatonin, the problem with melatonin is that because it's a natural hormone, your body experiences this thing called tachyphylaxis. So you essentially become so intolerant to melatonin. And that's why, from a patient care point of view, I don't even recommend melatonin to a lot of my patients, because at the end of the day, they'll take it for like a month and be like, I don't see any effects. Yeah, because your body becomes tolerant to it. So I'm a big push for non-farm or like sleep hygiene, which is weird because I'm usually the legal drug dealer, but I push a lot when it comes down to sleep hygiene, because every drug on the market that they say helps with sleep, it doesn't. And I don't want to go into the pharmacology of it, but it really realistically doesn't. And your body again experiences that tachyphylaxis. So it's not her fault that she can't fall asleep. It's just after a while the medications have like a cutoff, and so after that cutoff they can't work any better, if that makes sense. So it's just really the sleep hygiene is the best thing for her to, okay, it's not anything that any of us can do, it's anything that you're doing wrong per se. It's literally just how these drugs work.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. There's Comfort has a question. Just because of time, we'll quickly take all the questions, but if you have other questions, please, you can put them in the chat box and then we'll send them to Zita, and she'll take her time to explain, and we'll attach it to all the other documents that will be sent out. Comfort, please ask your question.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Excellent presentation. I had earlier asked a question on how to help teenagers with sleep, and she really did a good job on that. Then I also wanted to ask that can someone, if you're finding it difficult to sleep, if you can exercise some other forms of relaxation, like most times if my 7-year-old daughter finds it difficult to sleep, sometimes she says, okay, can you read to me, or so it will help me sleep and all that. And then I wanted to ask, what about for adults? Are they like, apart from taking sleeping, I don't know, like someone was explaining, are there other forms of relaxation, maybe like listening to music and all that? I don't know if any other method can help, just so the person can have a good sleep.
Thank you, Comfort. When we send out the slides, you're going to see, like I talked about meditation, I talked about journaling, I talked about a non-sleep deep rest, I talked about yoga nidra, I talked about essential oils. So all of these are things that can help you feel relaxed so you can fall asleep.
That's right. Very quickly, Olori Adedipe, very quickly, please.
Oh, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Zita, for that awesome presentation. And thanks to the host for putting this together. So my question is this. I've heard, when you were talking about people who are night shift workers, what they can do. But my question is, what about, people whose livelihood depends on attending to emergencies, like, for example, surgeons, who cannot get off, like off the job. So it's not a shift work. What do you advise that they can do to help them to get that, life balance, to get that sleep in? I'm asking this because I have, a surgeon in my hand, and he's struggling with sleep, and it's affecting his life. And then I have a daughter now, also in medical school, who is also on the same trajectory. I don't want that to keep happening, in my life, because I know the toll on the father. I don't want that to happen to the child as well. So what can I do to make sure that I mitigate that situation? Thank you for allowing me to ask.
Thank you, Lori. So like I said, there are people whose livelihoods depend on shift work, and they are very, very essential. So the onus is on them to clean up their sleep hygiene, to know that I am not always on call. The days that I am not on call, I have to dial in my sleep, because it becomes it becomes like something that is very natural to them, that they can say, okay, I don't need to go to sleep. I can stay awake. My body's already used to it. And so it becomes like second nature for them not to dial in that sleep. So on days that are on call, yes, this is their job. This is what it's supposed to be. They can go without sleep because they are on call. But on days that are not on call, they should have a sleep routine that they follow. Your daughter in medical school is really, it's not easy to tell a medical student to like go to sleep 8 hours a night. It's almost impossible for them at that time. But that's a phase in life. And remember, they're also younger, that they can actually tolerate the fewer hours of sleep, but have a sleep routine. If it is 5 hours, make sure you're having your 5 or 6 hours of sleep every day. Anything that is not done, take it to the next day. Like it's on them to say, because sleep is very, very important for me now, and for my 80-year-old self down the road. I have to do something to improve on my sleep hygiene now, so that I become better. Because if you don't sleep well, how can you carry out a surgery when you have not slept the night before properly? And research has shown that most medical, you have mistakes that are made during surgery is because of sleep deprivation.
Oh.
So they should just dial in their sleep, make sure they clean up their sleep hygiene, and make sure they're having as many hours as needed. But once you entrain your body that this is my 5 hours of sleep, you will get up restored after the 5 hours. It doesn't have to be 7 or 8 hours, given your current condition or circumstances. I don't know if that makes sense.
Thank you very much. It does make sense. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zita, for all the insights and the excellent questions, and the way you excellently answered all our questions. Thank you for those that have asked questions. I'll just do a very quick share of my screen here. And I just want to quickly say something about the African Cancer Support Group. I am a cancer survivor. We have lots of cancer survivors in our community, and I know that a lot of us do not like to talk about this illness. African Cancer Support Groups is just a community, a very safe community space for us to come together as survivors, as caregivers, as friends of cancer, people of people that have had cancer, to just come into that space and let it out and support one another. That's all we do. So like my slide says here, YHCSG. We help survivors and patients cope with emotional trauma that comes with cancer. It's
We're
not
not seeing
just
your slide.
even, oh, I've had cancer, it's gonna kill me or I'm gonna die. There's so many intricacies of cancer that just affects you emotionally, psychologically, and that's why we have a CSG in place. What's our aim? Overall, it's to support survivors, patients, caregivers, and to share our stories. I don't know if some of you came to our last Cancer Survival Day events back in June. If you had listened to people's story, you would have been like, oh my God, this is happening in the same community I associate with. So we share our stories, we share our symptoms, we share our experiences, information, and coping strategies in this community. It's also a safe place for us to share information, and most importantly, a place to give and get emotional support. You're not just getting, you're also giving, because if it's just for me to talk to one person in a day, about how I'm feeling, and the person responds, oh, I'm feeling that way too, that's already enough for me. That's already enough for me. So you just meet up and associate with people that are going through exactly what you are going through. And like the slide says, you don't have to even be a cancer patient. Being a caregiver to someone going through cancer is enough for you to be a part of this community, because the caregiver sometimes even feels much worse than the person going through the cancer journey. So why do you want us to join in this community? Why do we want you to join this community? Being a part of a support group encourages healing. When I started my journey, I was here alone in Canada, a single person. I had just immigrated less than 2 years. I felt alone until I met ACSG family. Then things started looking better for me. I started having more faith and hope. But when I was going through my journey alone, I did not have so much faith, because I had never known anybody that had cancer, and it was all new to me. I was trying to navigate it all by myself, and it was very scary. But then I met the ACSG family, and then things started to look better. And now I am an advocate. I try to let people know that you cannot go through cancer alone. Whether you're a patient, whether you're friends, whether you're a family, whether you're a caregiver, it is not something you can go through alone. So it is important that we create awareness in our community as Black people, and we don't just cater to Black people. Just so you know, we have Asians, in the group. We have some Caucasians. We have different people from different walks of life. So it is so important that we spread this information. Canada or Calgary, they say, is a very small place compared to where we are coming from. You know, we're all from places where community is a big deal. We associate, you know, intimately with our community back at home. But here we're all scattered everywhere. And this is a community where we're encouraging people to come together. And it doesn't even have to be cancer alone. It could be another chronic illness. You know, it just doesn't have to be cancer. But our main cause of support is cancer, but we still support people going through other chronic illnesses. Who can join? It is designed for people of African descent, cancer survivors, cancer patients, caregivers, family members, and friends, anyone interested in knowing more about cancer. And then a caveat to this is it is not just for people going through cancer alone. If you have other chronic illnesses and you're a member of the African community or the Caribbean community or any community you may actually belong to, we welcome you with open hands. You can join us, and I assure you, you get a lot of support from us. For our name is African Cancer Support Group. We're a non-profit organization, and we operate under the umbrella of the Oladele Foundation. You can also help us, you know, the support we give is not your usual thing you hear from people. They say, oh, I joined the support group, you know, like we see in movies where people just sit around and just talk about their cancer or their illnesses or whatever they're going through. We go way and beyond, far beyond that. I cannot even start to tell you what we do without you seeing for yourself. Besides coming together as a community to just talk, we do a lot of other things. We go to chemo sessions with people. You know, we reimburse people for parking at the hospital when they go for cancer-related appointments. We do meal delivery to people going through cancer, all of this for free. We operate through donations and, you know, from the pockets of our founders. And for us to continue to do all of this, we need help. We need you to please donate to our cause, share our donation link, share our websites to people that you think can help us, because there's no way we can be helped the way we want to be helped if it's not coming from our community. The way we help, we make sure we channel our services to culturally appropriate and recognized ways of life. The foods we deliver, we make sure they are foods you can eat. The therapies we give, we make sure they are therapies that align with your religion, that align with your self-worth, that align with your self-beliefs. So we need help continuing to do all of this. And that's why I'm encouraging us today. Please share all this information. Partner with us if you would like to. If your organizations are in the habit of, you know, part of their social responsibilities is donating to charities, please mention our name. It's a good cause. Nobody is praying for cancer. I did not pray for cancer when I got it at 37 years old. I wasn't even up to 37, just a few months to my 37th birthday in 2021. I got the news. It's been almost 3 years now, and I can say that with this experience, life is beautiful. It has its challenges, of course. Every day comes with its own pains, post-cancer treatment pains, post-cancer treatment mental challenges. But I'm here standing today because I have community support. Tom Baker will treat you and send you home, and that's it. But we take up from there. We take up even doing their own work. We help you. We help you go through the journey without you feeling like you're all alone here in the world. Thank you. I will just discontinue the share. And if you do have any questions, about the African Cancer Support Group, please ask very quickly or send it in the chat box. If you want to partner with us, if you want to donate, we'll also send the donation link in the chat box. I think that is already sent actually. If you have any question about the African Cancer Support Group, please ask right now, or just send your questions in the chat box and we'll get in touch with you. Seems there's no question. Okay. Is there anybody that would like to give any concluding comments before we close this session?
Didi, maybe I would just like to say something. I want to thank everyone who joined in today. I wanted to know that I'm part of the Alberta Cancer Support Group. I am a breast cancer survivor, for those who do not know. And since I joined this group, it has been a wonderful experience for me. Just hearing other people's experiences and being there to help other people. There are lots of things that we can do, like Adiola said, nobody writes an application to have cancer. So women, please make sure you're doing your annual checkups. It's better to catch it early or do the things that will boost your immune system so that your immune system is strong enough to fight other diseases. Please, this course is a very wonderful course. If you can support in any way, please do so, because this is like God just sent Mayinka with this. She had her own experience and she turned it to help other people. So this is an opportunity. My Cameroonians who are here, please support. Please, we need your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Zita. And please, if you have anybody going through cancer or that has even gone through cancer and is having a hard time, life after cancer, they don't tell you lots about it after your treatment. So please just let them know about us. Let them become part of us and would help them navigate life, through all the challenges that comes with cancer. Please, you can reach out to us on info@africancancer.ca, info@africancancer.ca. If you have any questions, you can also reach out to me personally, and my email address is adiola@africancancer.ca. I'll just type it quickly here. Adiola. So thank you so much. Thank you. I can't thank you enough, Zita, for doing this. It's part of her volunteering. What's the word now? She volunteered to do this. She didn't charge us, and we just want to say thank you so much, Zita, for that. And thank you, African Cancer Support Group and the Alberta government through the Ethnocultural Funding and Calgary Foundation for this session. It's been very, very insightful. I gained a lot. I'm gonna make a lot of changes so I can sleep better and not have to rely on sleep meds, to fall asleep. Thank you everyone for joining today. Thank you, Pearl. Thank you, Nazia. Thank you, Nanga. Thank you, Auntie Kate. Thank you, Lillian. Thank you, Gilbert, Dennis. Thank you, Comfort. Thank you, Yinka. Thank you, Romy. Thank you, Ilda, Yetunde. Thank you, Abiola. Thank you, Mary Ivy. Thank you, Loom. Thank you, Helke. Thank you, Loria Didipe. I tried to mention everybody's name, but I know I did not. But thank you to everyone that attended today. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you, Didi.
Thank you,
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Stay blessed.